Hi, everyone. Welcome to our new podcast, Modern Living. I'm Gabby.
I'm David.
We're both real estate agents here in Stamford at Modern Day Real Estate.
Yeah, and we're looking to pretty much start this podcast to reach out to anyone that's listening to let them know about Stamford trends, market trends that are going on here in Stamford, as well as a little bit more of the restaurant life and local living and a little bit of family life, a little sprinkle of us so you could get to know us.
Also, just, to get to know us and, to see what we do here in Stamford. So, our first segment is our real estate trends. So,
Yes.
I was actually, I don't know if you guys know, if you know this, but Zillow actually named Stamford their top 3 searched city on their platform.
Yeah,
Did you
which
know that?
I'm not surprised that it is just because of I feel like after COVID,
Yeah.
that's pretty much when everyone just started just flowing into us,
Yeah.
into Stanford. And I feel like it's been a trend
Yeah.
year after year. We're just seeing a lot of more New Yorkers. We're seeing a lot of more development here for
Mhm.
residential living, a lot of apartment buildings being brought up. So I'm not surprised that that's the case. Ever since that happened, people just want to be away from the city, it
Yeah.
feels, and
Mhm.
be more, localized over here where it's like not as hectic or
Yeah.
as populated, but it is now getting a lot more populated. So I always call it the mini New York
It is.
because of how
It
crazy it is.
definitely is. It feels like a mini Manhattan.
Yeah.
So Danny, our broker, who's also my husband, he's always saying like we have a little mini Manhattan. We're 45 minutes away from
Yeah.
Manhattan. We're a 45-minute train ride. I mean, we can be in New York in a blink of an eye. So you get a little bit of both worlds only because you have the tranquility of living in Stanford or, a more quiet version.
Right.
But then you can also head into the city and make a day of that if you want to.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So Zillow also said that, speaking of home values and things of that nature, Zillow said that the average home in Stanford as of December of 2024 was $6,662, and that's up 6% from last year. So, I mean, home prices are definitely on a steady incline,
Yeah.
which is good
Yeah. And
for,
also surprising because a lot
yeah.
of people are saying, like, oh, interest rates this, interest rates that.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, from what I've been feeling, is like buyers are still looking to buy.
Yeah.
Like that's not stopping them.
Yeah.
And depending on what you want to do, because there's a lot of people that are coming in here also for investment.
Hmm.
As long as the numbers make sense,
Hmm.
as long as you could make that payment affordable
Correct.
to you,
Hmm.
then it's a good time to buy.
It's funny that you say that because I always feel like it's never really a bad time to buy.
No.
When my husband first started doing real estate, interest rates were like 9-10%. People were buying.
Yeah.
We ourselves bought a house of like 10% interest rate years and years ago.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
mind you, the prices were like a lot less. Like I always get those like memes where it's like, oh, you bought your house like for a nickel and two pairs of chickens, and I'm always like, or like the other one that I always hear a lot is like, I should have bought a house when I was like 4.
mhm,
I
mhm.
think about that a lot. So
Yeah,
it's like, but it makes sense because either way, like interest rates will be interest rates, prices will be prices,
right,
prices will continue to rise,
right,
go down, rise, go
right.
down. But over the longevity of you holding that property,
Hmm.
that's where the money gets made.
Well, the rates are the rates.
Yeah.
There's no changing that. And it's if you have the option of buying your home and paying your mortgage as opposed to continuing to bleed money into your rent, which if you have to, that's okay,
Yeah.
but if you don't, I mean, it's a wonderful thing to be able to own your own piece of property,
Right.
whether
Right.
that be a single family, whether that be a condo, whatever that is, it will build equity. And in time, if you don't want it, you can always sell it. You can always rent it. You can
Hmm.
always, you know, pass it down to your children. I mean, there's so many good reasons to
Yeah.
own.
Yeah. Personally, with me, like, I talk about my mom's house all the time,
Mhm.
where it's like she bought a multifamily,
Mhm.
and me, my brother, my sister, we've all benefited from it.
Yeah.
So it's like that's something that I always pitch to clients whenever they're
Mhm.
looking into multifamilies or anything like that. Where it's
Absolutely.
like right now, the best option that I like to pitch to clients is get into a multifamily,
Yeah.
specifically because it's helped out my family throughout the years,
Right.
and
Right.
like now it's paid off, and now like my mom is finally reaping the benefits from it.
Mhm.
Us not living upstairs with very low rents. So it's like it just makes more sense right now with the interest rates if people are concerned with that mortgage payment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, owning a multifamily home, owning an investment, if the first property you can get into is a multifamily, that's
Yeah.
only to your benefit. You can always use the first time buyer program
Yeah.
again if you're upgrading to a single family
Yeah.
because it's considered an upgrade.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
A lot of people think 20%, I have to put 20%
Right.
down, but that's not the case. It
Correct.
goes back to what you said, where it's like if it's an upgrade. So
Mm-hmm.
if in the multifamily or if in the single family that you had, right? If it was a 2 bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
but now you're growing your family, now
Correct.
you need more bedroom, now you need more square footage in the house.
Mm-hmm.
All those are things that can be used so you could still have a low down payment. It won't be
Correct.
as low as the 3.5%, 3% that you'd be able to get as like the first time home buyers,
Mm-hmm.
but 5% is still a low down payment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we were working with a client who was living in Stamford, but for school purposes wanted to move to New Canaan or Darien, and that was considered an upgrade.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even though they already had a single family home and they were looking for another single family home, it was a couple of years later. That point, her child was school ready, and it was considered an upgrade. So they were able to benefit from the lower down payment
Mm-hmm.
costs, which is great.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it makes sense. So like you
Mm-hmm.
said, any investment that someone's looking to get into, real estate related, as long as the numbers make sense, as long as you're able to make those payments, as long as you're comfortable with making those payments,
Mm-hmm.
then it just makes sense. It doesn't
Absolutely.
matter. Interest rates are something that's going to fluctuate no matter what you do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and what a lot of people say is once those interest rates come down, 1.5, 2%, that's when it starts making sense to actually do the refinance, or
Absolutely.
later down the road, if you still have the property, take out a home equity line of credit,
Mm-hmm.
use that to purchase something else. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that you could do with owning property.
A lot of options. I
Yeah.
mean, Danny loves to say that, when you're looking for a property, you can get the same property anywhere, but the location is something you can never change. So you have a property in a great location, maybe you didn't get it at the interest rate that you were looking for, but a couple of years from now, the interest rate can come down and you can definitely do what you're saying
Yeah.
and reap from those benefits.
Yeah. And right now, a lot of people are reaping those appreciation benefits right now over the years. So
100%.
yes.
100%. Everyone's looking for
Yeah.
a HELOC. So it's definitely
Yeah.
happening.
We just did one. My sister just did one.
Yeah.
So it's like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, like using that money wisely.
Wisely.
Key point.
Yes, yes, yes.
Key
Wisely is
point. Not going and, going on a shopping spree. Using that
exactly.
money wisely to reinvest into something
Right.
else. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, that
Um,
makes sense. That
Definitely
makes sense. And
beneficial.
I feel like in Stanford alone, the investment opportunity is there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we see it, year after year, more
Mm-hmm.
apartment buildings are being made.
Yeah.
What do we have? 3 or 4 apartment buildings that are being made right now that are
Right
going to
now.
be available. More in the works. I heard that they
Mm-hmm.
were talking about another building that they're going to convert into apartment buildings. I forgot which one it was. I don't know if it
Well,
was like
Burlington is one.
Burlington is one. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which that one is insane. But
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's literally dead center of downtown.
Downtown.
So I can
Yeah.
only imagine how hectic it's going to be. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's already crazy. Like 5 o'clock.
The
Right there. Right there is like congestion area.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how it's going to be crazy, and I don't know how the city was like, oh, okay,
That
let's
sounds
do it.
good.
That sounds about
That
right.
makes sense.
Let's do some more apartment buildings there. But you have that. You have Harbor Point that over the
Yeah.
past X amount of years was an incredible investment,
Mm-hmm.
which a lot of people did not want to go down there. 8, 10 years back.
Oh, 100%.
And look at it now.
Mm-hmm.
So we see a lot of that going on. So I feel like the investment opportunity for affordable housing
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, it's still on the up and up.
Yeah.
So one thing that I would say here in Stanford, if you do have those opportunities to get into something where you could commercialize or do something like those apartment buildings, that's definitely the way to go right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, if you had to give a buyer or a seller one piece of advice right now, what would that be?
I tell these buyers a couple things
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, one, what are you currently paying?
Mm-hmm.
And are you comfortable with paying that? So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people that come to me that are looking to buy, they're already renting.
Mm-hmm.
So with rents being so high,
Mm-hmm.
it's very comparable to how mortgage will be.
Right.
If not a little bit higher or a little bit lower, depending on where you're looking to move.
Rents are crazy
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
Crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that I always tell them, where it's like, what are you currently paying and then on
Mhm.
top of that, add the utilities that you're paying. Are you comfortable with that? Because when
Mhm.
it comes to owning a home,
Mhm.
you can't call maintenance and be like, hey, listen, something's down. It's like you
Yeah.
have to make that call
Right.
now. So if you're not comfortable with that payment, if you're not comfortable with, getting anything higher than that, then I would be like, this is where we're going to stick to in terms of monthly. And the
Mm.
reason why I start with that is because everyone says, I want to stay in Stamford.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, I would love for you to stay in Stanford,
Yeah.
but now we're gonna go back to what we just originally talked about with that monthly.
Mhm.
Because now with the home prices being so high for single families, a lot of people are looking into move-in ready,
Mhm.
and that's where we're gonna get into the ballpark of like 650,000, where
Mhm.
that's gonna be more than that, $2,800 rent that
Yeah.
you have,
Yeah.
$3,000 rent that you have in terms of mortgage.
Mhm.
So that's when they start realizing like what they actually want.
Yeah.
And that's when we could get into the conversation of, maybe we need to move up or we need to rethink everything and, move into like potentially a condo where it makes a little bit more sense monthly.
Yep.
Or, right now it may make more sense for you to keep renting.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, funny you say that because one of the when they were talking about the Zillow cities, some of our neighboring towns were on that list as well. So you have Waterbury, Bridgeport. I mean,
Mhm.
Bridgeport homes are
Yeah.
insane right now. Like
Yeah.
I can't even believe it. So, it's definitely a good piece of advice. So my advice would probably be to buy now. So we're approaching the spring market. I
Mhm.
know, and I tell all my clients, in the spring, everything looks just so much prettier than it
Yeah,
does in the winter.
that it
And
does.
because of that, prices go up. Bidding wars begin to happen even more and more frequently if they don't already,
Yeah.
you
I mean,
know?
most homes that I see now are in some form of bidding war.
Yeah, yeah. I would say don't wait until the spring market.
Yeah.
Get in there like ASAP.
Yeah. During the winter months
Mm-hmm.
where it gets cold,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't like to go out and see houses that way.
100%. Yeah.
So you have, yes, less competition,
Mm-hmm.
which goes straight to your benefit.
Mm-hmm.
You have homes that have been sitting on the market a little bit. They're willing to negotiate a little bit more, so it's better to catch them before that springtime hits.
Yep.
Yeah, because
Yep.
when that springtime hits, it does come with an upcharge for
100%.
sure, for sure.
So, the next topic, community spotlights. So I was actually doing just a little bit of digging here in Stanford, just so you know, we all know Super Bowl is
Hmm.
this Sunday,
Hmm.
and a couple places downtown are actually hosting Super Bowl watch parties,
Have
which
you
is
went to one of
nice.
those before?
So one time, one time, I personally prefer to watch it at home with family and friends, but
Right.
I know a lot of people prefer to go to the
True, but that's
bars.
because like our family is
Our family and friends.
is like that.
Yeah.
You know, just like how you said the other day, like just inviting me, my brother, and my sister, we're already rolling deep with nine. Just minimum.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of people do like 20 people. All right, it's a party.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
like you invite us, like that's us and
We
our
are the
kids.
party.
We are the party right there. You need chaos, you need love, you need happiness, you need a little bit of anger. Like
Yeah, there
we're
you
there.
go. There
We're
you go.
there.
A tantrum here or there.
Tantrum here and there from the kids.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly,
it's there.
exactly.
So like that's why it's like every time we host anything, it's a great time
Mm-hmm.
because it's just so much of us.
Yeah,
And I feel like a lot of people aren't like that these days. At
yeah,
least I haven't seen it. Where
right,
it's like a lot of people are more, two, three to a group and like they
right,
go do something
right.
downtown, which I'm seeing a lot now. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of more people going downtown, going to these restaurants.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to do it, but I feel like I'd be so alone there.
Oh no, you totally make friends, especially you. You're so good. You're so good at making new friends. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's a ton of watch parties going on. Super Bowl watch parties. There's even a puppy bowl watch party happening.
Really?
And that's going to benefit the Lucky Dog Foundation, which is over there on the Harbor Point area.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. So that's really cute. And then on Saturday, they have the Halo Expo. Have you ever been to the Halo Expo at Chelsea Piers?
No, I
So
haven't.
that's happening at Chelsea Piers. Halo stands for Health, Active Lifestyle, Outdoor Adventure. So that's happening Chelsea Piers from 9 to 2 if you're interested in doing that. Um, and then Restaurant Week starts a little later in the month. It starts February 17th through March 2nd.
Restaurant week, what's that?
Winter Restaurant Week.
Yeah.
So that's when all the restaurants, so they have a summer restaurant week and a winter restaurant week. And that's when all the restaurants downtown that are participating create like a set menu. And like the lunch will be like $20, $25 a
Hmm.
person. And the dinners will be like $40, $50 a person.
Well, now everybody knows who goes out, who doesn't go out, and well,
Well, I love restaurant week because
yeah.
have you been out to dinner lately?
Uh, no, not really. That well, I did go to J House. I did go to
Was
a
it,
different restaurant in
did you pay for one or two?
too.
And how much was your bill?
It was hefty.
Was it well over 150?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so that's why restaurant week is so popular because you have these set menus and you go in and you pay like $50 a person or $40, $20 per person for lunch and you get a meal and you're out for a night in the town, but it's a fixed menu and it's a fixed price. So
yeah.
you're
It's
not
not
going to
bad.
be, because I know like every time Danny and I go out, it's like $150, $180 a
Right,
night.
right.
Every time, and that adds up if you're going out
Yeah,
once a week. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah.
so I love restaurant week, but that's a little bit later into the month. Um, and then there's something that my son actually brought up to me. He said, "Did I know that there's Thursday night thrills in Stamford?" I'm like, "What is that?"
Like what?
So it's actually a game show at the mall that they do every single Thursday from 6 to 8.
I had no idea.
Me either. And you
Like
can
a
win
game
like
show where like you're the contestant
you're
or
the contestant and they have like all these games that you can
what?
play and you can win anywhere from like 5 to two hundred
We're
and
in the mall.
fifty
I feel
dollars
like it's a ghost town in there.
at in the pit.
In the pit.
Yeah.
Oh, I have seen those.
You have?
I have seen those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
But
never know I never knew that.
yeah, I've seen those. I've seen them. I've seen them play. I've seen them win. But I see it mostly kids doing it, so it's great for the kids.
Yeah. Oh, is
Like
it for the kids?
from when I went in there,
Yeah.
it was mostly kids that were doing it. So they would play all these games. They'd have an announcer, and they'd win
Oh.
prizes.
They win prizes. Yeah. And
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
win up to $250. That sounds
And
like I mean,
so you'll go win some money, then
and
you'll
then
go to
you got
restaurant week, and
there you
then
go.
that's it.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, do you know of anything going on in the city? Anything fun?
Listen, I've been super super focused on real estate,
Yeah.
and I haven't been out too much, but I
Mm-hmm.
am starting to go out a little bit more.
Nice.
But more in terms of nightlife. So
Oh,
I haven't
gotcha.
like if we're talking like what's new in the city, I'm kind of like I don't really know yet. I
Yeah.
need to actually observe the city, not
Got it.
during the nighttime.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I mean
Do you do any of the kid events? Like, do you take the girls? Because do you take Kamari and Kaylee out to any of the kids events?
I
Because they
haven't.
have a ton.
Yeah, I haven't. One
No.
thing that I really want to do is the one that they have at Home Depot though.
I heard every Saturday, right?
Yeah,
But it's like 8 o'clock in the
yeah.
morning.
I would really love to do that one. It just makes it a little bit difficult because I would love to bring both of them. And
Yeah.
like Kaylee, she's young still,
How old is
but
Kaylee?
so she's a year and 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
But
And Kamari?
and Kamari's 3 years old. Yeah, so they're not. Kamari's not. She's a little bit older where she understands
Kamari's
everything.
not the
She's
problem.
it's because Kaylee. The good thing about Kaylee is that she'll follow Kamari.
Yeah.
So if Kamari's listening, if Kamari's doing everything that she needs to do, like Kaylee
Mm-hmm.
would be right there.
Mm-hmm.
But then when Kaylee gets a mind of her own,
Mm.
she'll have a mind of her own.
Yeah.
And she has a little attitude too. So it's like
I feel like they're both a little spicy.
they are.
They are a little
They are.
spicy.
Yeah.
I love that though.
Yeah.
So I definitely follow like Stanford moms, Fairfield moms, and
Yeah.
they have some awesome events and they're constantly putting out like a bunch of like things that are going on in the town, which is really nice. Um, Again, back to the family thing, we do have a ton of family. So our kids, so I have a little one, he's 5, his name is Derek, and then I have two much older kids. Ashley's 26, Danny's 24. Danny's still in school, and he works for us as well. Ashley is in the teaching area, so she's really focused on that. But it's nice because we have this awesome balance. We have our older kids, which we can like enjoy like fun movies to watch
Hmm.
together, or game night is really fun now because our kids are older and into it a little bit more.
You don't have to fake lose.
I don't have to fake lose like I do all the time with Derek. And then we have our little one who has brought such a beautiful fresh air into our family.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just talking about it. He just turned 5 on
Mm-hmm.
Friday, and we went to his favorite place, which is Dave and Buster's. That's his favorite place in the whole entire
Yeah.
world. So we went to Dave and Buster's, and we were all going. So we have this thing that we do when it's someone's birthday. We go around the table saying something nice about the person whose birthday it is.
Right.
So he actually brought it up. He said, "Are you guys going to say something nice about me?" So we're going around the table and we're all saying something beautiful about Derek, and he's,
Right.
super excited. And then we were talking about what he has done for us. Ashley said it best. She said, he was the missing piece we didn't know was missing.
Right.
He kept us united because our kids were in college.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley was gone, Danny was gone, and I don't know if obviously there are children, so we're going to
Yeah.
be close no matter what. We as parents are going to make that
Right.
effort no matter what. But I feel because of Derek coming into the picture, because he is with us, they made an effort to be
Right.
with us.
Yeah.
They don't want to miss his birthday, the
Mhm.
weekends with him, going to soccer at 9 in the morning
Right.
with him. They don't want to miss those events because look, he's 5 now. Time goes by
Super
in an
fast.
instant, and
Super
before we
fast.
know it, he'll be 10 and then 15 and then off to college, and it
Yeah.
happens so fast we don't even realize it's happening because we're in it.
Yeah.
So having that beautiful balance is really nice, and getting to on Friday, getting to actually like emotionally like feel that and be grateful for that
Right.
and be aware of that was really nice.
Yeah.
So
No, that is great. And I think that is true because it's like you said, he's kind of like that glue between
mhm,
where your kids are now,
mhm,
right? And a lot of kids at that age, they're kind of like doing their own thing now.
yeah,
They are.
completely.
I know a lot of kids, once they're out of college, like they're on their own,
That's it, they're gone.
So it's
Mhm,
like it's great to see that, and I know that I feel like we have a really tight knit family either
mhm,
way, which is what I love.
mhm,
So, that's something that's definitely appreciative in terms of how we grew up.
yeah.
So,
Kudos to our
yeah,
parents who
yeah,
also
big time.
kept us like that, and
Yeah,
who instilled that like tightness in our home, because we didn't just do that. That was taught.
true,
Mhm.
true. It
Yeah.
wasn't, what is it called when they're, I know empty nesters is what the parents are called, but
Mhm.
what is it when the kids like go on, they're on their own, just like,
I
is
don't
there a
know.
thing for that?
Adulting?
Adulting? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, and it's great to see that because I see how, from an outsider's perspective,
Mhm.
we see that,
Mm.
how close you guys are,
Aw.
and it's great to see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you.
of
Thank you. I
course. Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
that. Anything going on with the girls? Like anything cool happening? Are you
Trying
doing
to
anything
think.
special with the girls for Valentine's Day?
I was thinking about taking them to a steak dinner. Yeah,
Oh, that's so
yeah.
cute.
So taking them to a steak dinner, I think that'll be really nice.
Mhm.
Um, we don't really go out to too many restaurants because
Yeah.
we always eat at home.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that for Valentine's Day would be perfect. So I'll take them like on a little date type.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love
I
that.
think that'll be nice.
So, our next segment is work life. So, how do
Yeah.
you think you balance your work life in comparison to your girls? I know your situation's a little bit different,
Hmm.
but how would you say that you balance your work life, manage your work
Yeah,
life and your family life?
I would say I'm still working on it. I'm a bit of a workaholic, so I'll
Mm.
always be like on my computer, on my phone, like doing something.
Hmm.
So
Even with the girls there?
I try not to,
Okay.
but it's hard not to.
Mm.
Also, because being in real estate, it's like you don't have a clock in, clock out.
Right.
So
Right.
there's times where I'll get phone calls like, while I'm with them or anything like that, but I
Mm-hmm.
try to not ignore them.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I am on a call, um, if they're distracted, if they're playing with each other, it's like, okay, like I'll go into the other room,
Mm-hmm.
keep an eye on them and then be on the phone.
Yeah.
But if they're there, if they're wanting me to hold them, like I'm just gonna tell my client, like, hey, listen, I have my girls with me, so if you do hear other noise, like that's them being there.
Yeah.
So I try not to.
Most people
Yeah,
are understanding of that. I
yeah,
mean,
and
they
they
themselves have a
have been. Yeah,
family.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they have been. So, but what I'm trying to do now, where it's like, all right, during maybe while we eat,
Mhm.
or during bedtime, during that hour and a half period,
Mhm.
I don't answer my phone.
Yeah.
Where it's like they got me there.
Right.
While we're eating, where they're eating there as a family, not to get distracted by our phones. And sometimes I do, but I try for most of the time, put the phone to the side.
Yeah.
And then same thing when we go to bed.
Yeah.
So when I put them to bed, I make sure like no phone calls, no text messages, no nothing.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So
So it's pretty. So again, because we've gone through. So for us, I'm the one that's always home. If I know Danny has to go to work or has to go meet with clients, that's okay because I get to be home. But when our older kids were in high school, I'm gonna say Ashley was in sophomore year, Danny was in his freshman year of high school. Danny made like the decision, like, I'm not ever going to miss a dinner again.
mhm.
Because he would come home and it would be like 9 o'clock at night and the kids would be getting ready for bed.
Right.
And he would come and spend some time with them, but they're also trying to prepare for the next day,
Yeah.
take their showers, get their clothes ready, and they would be in bed by 10, even though they were in high school. Um, and we took their plugs out of their room so that they wouldn't. I kid you not. You can ask them this. We took out their plugs out of
Yeah.
their room so that they couldn't charge their phones or have TVs upstairs. So that
What?
we would force them to spend time with us downstairs.
That's funny.
And when it was time to go to bed, they had to charge their phone
Yeah.
overnight, or else they wouldn't have a phone in the morning.
Yeah.
Funny story, but he would get home and it would be late, and they would be going off to bed soon.
Ultimate parenting hack, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Just go downstairs to the panel.
Yep. Just shut it off.
Shut it off for the second floor.
Shut it off.
I don't know what's working. We'll work on it though, but let's have dinner.
So we ended up so he ended up deciding, like, I'm not ever gonna miss a dinner again. My kids will be gone in 4 years, 3 to 4 years. Both of them will be out of the house. Like, I don't want to miss it, you know? So he started coming home at 6, 7, the latest. And that time adjustment meant the world to our family at that point,
Yeah.
So for us, dinner is a really important time. We're at dinner, like you said, we're at dinner. We take no phone calls, and it doesn't matter what's happening, unless something's burning to the ground. We're not
Right.
picking up. So that's kind of how we manage our time now, especially like with Derek. We get to do it all over again. It's almost like having a second chance at parenting.
Mhm.
And trust me, you do remember all the things you did wrong, and you
Yeah.
try to make up for it in a way.
Right.
So I think for us, it's because we're both in real estate, and although I'm not the one actively showing listings, I'm not the one actively in the work field, if to say per se. I am on the back end of all that.
Yeah.
I am the one responding to emails. I am the one responding to text messages. I am the one setting up the appointments. I am the one doing all the back end
Right.
work of all that. But being that we're both in real estate, I think it's important to have a balance, because, like you mentioned, there's not a shut off time. There is no like,
Mhm.
oh, when our clients get home from work is when they have a minute to talk to us.
Mhm.
So we also have to be
Adjust for that.
accommodating to
Yeah.
that and adjust for that. Yeah. So
Yeah. That the weekends also.
100%. So again, Danny made a rule a long, 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 long time ago, and he was like, "I'm not working Saturdays. It's like, it's my day off. I work 6 days a week, all the time.
Mhm.
So I'm just not working Saturdays, and my clients will learn to understand." So every time he meets a client, he always tells them straight up, right up front, "Listen, I'm here for you every single day at any time except Saturday." And they've learned to respect that, because that's a boundary that he put up, and he's like, that's my family time. Like,
Mhm.
if I get one day, it's that Saturday, and I don't want anything to interfere with that. So when people call him, though, because people will call him, they'll leave a voicemail and they'll always be like, Danny, I know it's Saturday and I know you're not going to call me back, but can you please call me tomorrow morning? So I love that they respect that.
Right.
But it is something that he says upfront
Yeah,
every
I
time.
think that's the biggest thing. Just making it known from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, this is my time.
Yeah.
All of the days you got me.
Yeah.
I just need that day.
Yeah, just that day.
And I think that's respectful too,
Yeah,
where it's like,
that's valid, right?
yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we do need that time to wind down.
Yeah.
We need something.
Yeah.
I mean, especially being an established business at that point,
Mm-hmm.
where Danny is an established business. You know, he's been in the field for many, many years, just like
Yeah,
you
almost
have.
over 18
Yeah.
years.
So it's like, it wasn't like me where it was like, oh, it's midnight. Yeah, let me go check if we could go see that house. You know what I mean? It's like I had to hustle for that.
100%.
And the first couple of years it was during COVID, so it's a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
But once we got over like kind of like that hump of like nobody really wanted to go out anymore, and now they're comfortable with going out ever since things started like slow down a little bit. That's when I just put pedal to the metal there.
Yeah.
And we're just like, no matter what, yeah, you want to go, I'll set it up, this and that. And now I'm starting to feel the benefits of it.
Yeah.
Where it's like now I could like slow down a little bit, and I could be like, hey, listen, you know, we'll schedule for this day and like be a little bit more organized. Where at the beginning it was just like, yes, like
Of
no
course.
matter what.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Understood.
Yeah. So
Understood.
I feel like it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
So like right now he's allotted where it was like, if I don't want to work that day, it's okay, and then we'll understand.
Yeah.
Specifically because he told them.
Yes.
That's the biggest key right there.
He's always so upfront about it, you know? So I mean,
yeah, I mean, work-life balance, everyone has their own thing to it. Where for me now, where it's like I don't have the girls the whole entire week.
Yeah.
So now on the days that I don't have the girls, it's like I go 100%, try to schedule all my appointments for those days.
Yeah.
And on the times that I do have my girls, fortunately now, like my clients that I have, they're very flexible.
Yeah.
So they're able to see, you know, during the day as well. So when I do have the girls, I'm able to see it throughout like during the day. So
while they're at school.
Right. And I feel like that's kind of like what you attract, which we always talk about that with like attraction and like, you know, the affirmations and like
100%.
So I've switched up my mindset since last year in terms of what type of clients I want to attract. And so far I've attracted a lot of flexible clients who are like, you want to go see it this time? Let's do it. That's okay with me during the day, in the afternoon. But I do try to unload most of my showings now on days that I don't have the girls, because it just makes more sense for me. Doesn't matter what time of day it is.
Yeah.
I'll be able to do it because now I do have the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and then when I'm with the girls, I'm at least able to see them more or be with them more now.
100%.
Because most of the showings that I had, I've already done it.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of attraction, like we always talk about this, like the law of attraction, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, whether you believe in God, the universe, your crystals, whatever it is, like the universe is listening. So whatever we put out there, we're going to get. So if we're constantly thinking about those bad clients, those clients that only want to see things after 8:00 at night or whatever, that's what we're going to get. But if we're spewing into the world like positivity and flexibility and kind people, like that's what we're going to get as well.
And that's so funny because every single time you say that, it always brings up how everyone would have a kick here when I first started out, because I didn't really care too, you know exactly where I'm going with this, because I didn't really care too much about the credit. I was like, all right, it's the story, it's, you know, who the client actually is, who they are. Because at the end of the day, a credit score is a credit score. But you could have a great credit score and still be a bad tenant, you know? So it's just so funny to talk about that now, where it's like, I was so comfortable with all the credit scores. It's like, all right, we'll find them a home. We'll find them a home. We'll find them a home. And like, little did I know, it was like, it's super tough.
Yeah.
It's super. And now I get into the spiel of like, hey, listen, I know a credit repair person. Let's spend, you know, $25 to $50 and let's fix that credit. Because the first couple of times it worked. It was fine. You know, I was able to get that client in there for these homes, and then everybody would be surprised. And I'm like, yeah, it's no problem. And then more people with those credit scores started coming my way.
Right.
And then that's when I was like, all right, I got to switch this mindset where it's like, all right, if they're coming my way, let's fix their credit. Let's try to get them above like a 650.
Yes.
And then have like an actual shot.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Especially now. Yeah. Like nowadays with the rent being so high and everybody being so concerned about they've always been concerned about credit scores, but I feel like more so now.
Yeah.
Because even people with 650 credit scores, 675, close
Yeah.
to 700, we're still like getting outbeat by other people.
100%. 100%. Yeah. It's crazy right now. But how do you deal with your, like, do you ever get time just for you? Like, just like you time? Do you ever have that?
Now I am, but
You
I
do.
guess only if you consider it like the gym.
Okay, that's good. Oh my
Like
gosh.
now, because I talk about it with Danny now. So
Yeah.
we've always texted each other and said like, did you go to the gym today? Did you go to the
Mhm.
gym today? Him holding me accountable, me holding him accountable.
Mhm.
Where last year I was trying to go to the gym minimally 3 times a week, but
Mhm.
now that I've consistently hit that, now I'm going 4 times a week.
Good for you.
And I've had it where it was only going to be like 45 minutes to an hour,
Mhm.
but now that I've hit that consistently, it's kind of like I still don't feel great after the gym.
Mm.
So just this past month, in January, I went with a friend, and we were there for an hour and a half,
Nice.
2 hours,
Wow.
and I was just like, how do people? I used to think like, how do people do this?
Why
Like,
are people
why
in
are
the
people in the
gym for
gym for
more
two
than
hours? Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But then after talking to him and like after saying like, I want this type of body, I want to fix this about my body, this and that,
Mhm.
and then I look at them and I'm like, now I get it.
Mhm.
You almost have to be obsessed with it.
Yeah. Just like you're obsessed with
Just
your
like with
business.
your business. How am I obsessed with business? How year after year getting better, getting better, getting better,
Correct.
and it's because I'm obsessed with my business.
Correct.
People call me a workaholic.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the
Mhm.
same thing with that, where it's like, I guess that's where the balance I need to find, where it's like, it's okay, get that hour and a half in the gym for yourself.
Yep.
You want this body, you don't fight for that body.
Right. No.
So now it's like all my workouts recently, this past week, this past week, were over an hour.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
So I feel, and
awesome.
I feel like
And
that's
that's
such
your
a, yeah, that's
that's like
such
your
a
release,
hundred
your
percent,
time. So
100%.
have you ever gone on the Peloton?
Yes,
Okay.
I have.
So one of my goals, or one of the things that I'm trying to achieve, is to work out at least a minimum of 3 days a week. So it's really, really hard for me. And I have to wake up at like 5 in the morning to get that done, because by
Yeah.
7 in the morning, everyone's up and the house is chaotic and we're running around, we're running here. But if you've ever been on this Peloton, there's a trainer called Robin. Her name is
Mhm.
Robin. And I love her taking her classes, because on top of the fact that she's kicks your butt while you're on your
Right.
bike or whatever it is that you're doing, she also throws in there like, you deserve these 30 minutes. Like, you earned these 30 minutes. And she says, it's never selfish to spend 30 minutes on you.
Right.
And as a mom, I feel like sometimes we need to hear that. Like, it's okay for you not to always be available to someone,
Mhm.
to work, to your children, to your husband, to your other family. Like, it's okay to take some time just for you
Mhm.
and to decompress, some of the things that she'll say this over and over again. She's like, whatever it is that you're carrying today, just let it go. For these next 30 minutes, just let it
Right.
go. And it's so
That's tough to do.
but it's
It's
so
not easy.
beautiful that someone reminds you to do that.
Right.
Because if not, you're just going, 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 and you're still thinking, damn it, like, is this still gonna fall through? Like, am I gonna be
Mhm.
able to save it? Or did that person submit their pay stubs like we asked them to 2 days ago? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, you have these thoughts in your head and you have to actively tell yourself, like, that's enough.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
You'll be able to achieve those 30 minutes.
Yeah. I
You'll
have
be able to
been.
get it.
I have
So,
been.
how long have you been doing it?
So I've been doing it for like, I'm gonna say a little over 6 weeks now.
Okay. So you already developed the habit.
Oh, well, I'm trying. So the habit to work out, yes, but I'm trying to get to the 5 a.m. habit.
Oh, okay.
And that's the part that's killing me right now.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna
Right.
get there. We'll see next week when I give you my follow.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, but thank you guys so much for listening to us. I hope that this was able to help you guys in any way, and we'll see
Yeah.
you guys
Get to
next
know a
week.
little bit more about us also.
Yeah,
Right?
us professionally and personally.
Yeah. Exactly.
See you next week.